back again. Let's see if we can do any more with this fella, shall we? Hopefully we can get this finished tonight, because we don't have much time to play about. I would like to get the photograph done with at least the basic, so you can see what I'm doing and what you're going to be getting if you win it. The cape I'm going to paint off camera, because there's something a little special I want to do for that. But as I say, let's crack on and see what we can actually do. Okay, so we've got the light grey areas done. I think what we can do now is get the arms put on. In fact, can we? Yes, I think we can get that one on at the very least, if nothing else. So what we want to do is just scrape a little bit of the paint off here, because so the nature of polystyrene cement is that what it does is melt the plastic. Oh great. Okay, so that hasn't worked as well as I'd hoped. Let's try something else, shall we? In fact, let's not try something else, let's try with a little more glue on this, in the hope that will hold it. Fingers crossed. So what we have is right there. Okay, so let's pop a little bit of the poly cement on there and get that done. Like so. So that arm is now on. Let's have a look at this arm and see what needs. I can't really get away with putting that one on yet. But that one is on and ready. So let's stand him up there like so, and let's get on with the painting. Now, while we're waiting for that to dry, I'll pop that to one side. Let's go over to his gun. Now, rather than have all blue, let's just try a different colour completely. And the colour I'd like to try for this one is red. And I've picked up the wrong red. In fact, before we do the red, we need to do another colour first of all, don't we? Yes, we do. What colour is that, you ask? Well, it's a bolt gun metal. Well, it's a gunmetal colour. For Citadel, it's what it used to be bolt gun metal. It's now called Ironbreaker. And it's a dark metallic silvery colour. And again, we're just doing dry brushes of this. So let's do that, and we want some of the darker Warclock bronze showing through. And as you can see, I am going from the top of the gun downwards on this. So I want some red on this, but the red is going to be going over some of the metallic parts. So you'll see that when we come to it. That is basically that. And now the arm I'm going to be doing roughly the same to that. Now we are going to be coming back and adding a little more to the arm, or a little more to that blade. That's not finished at all yet, so don't worry about that one. Now, so wanting some red on this gun, and I'm going to start off with the darkest red I have. It's not the darkest red that Games Workshop produced, but this is the darkest red I actually have, and this is called Wazdaka Red. And this is going to be covering certain areas, not everywhere. So the areas it's going to be covering is here, and we will take that red underneath. Sorry, itchy nose again. Anyone who's been watching my videos for a couple of weeks will know that as soon as I start painting, especially anything fiddly and detailed, knows that I start getting an itchy nose. I don't know why, it just sort of happens. There we are, and now here. And as you can see, run it across there as well, and then continue along this side. I'm going to try and get the better quality as the outer side of this, because the inner side is going to be near enough next to the body, so but I'm one of these people who, if I can see it at any time, it's going to get painted. But if you want to cut a corner here and there, well, that's not too bad. Okay, so there's that. Oops. Okay, next we're going to have a slightly lighter red on this, which is called Evil Sons Scarlet. Now, the Evil Sons are a tribe of orcs in the Warhammer universe, or Warhammer 40,000 universe. So that's where that name comes from. And we're just going over the top parts of this. I don't know why, because it's going to be pointing downwards. Idiot. So I'm just going to, the top parts then would be these areas. I'm not doing, as I said, the inner areas of this much because it's going to be, as I say, blocked from sight by the body of the chappie. Okay, so that's that done. Next, what we're going to be doing is on the blade, if it's dried fully, let's check. That's dried there. That seems to have dried, yep. We're going to be doing some weird and wonderful wacky stuff. Right, we have Warboss green, we have Caliban green, we have Scorpion green. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is what we call wet blending. And this is something that takes a little bit of practice to get it right. And even when you get it right and you've practiced, it can be very hard work to do correctly. Unfortunately, it's one of those techniques. What we're basically doing is trying to get a gradient going from dark to light, and hoping that we can do this correctly. If not, there are ways around it to make it look good, so don't worry. I'm going to make it as good as I can. I want to grate a fair amount of this colour on the brush. I want to be very quick about what we're doing as well. Hope you can see what's happening. The dark green is blending into the mid green. Unfortunately not very well on that side. Let's try and get some more of this Caliban green onto the yeah. Okay, that's that. Now the Warboss green, I'm coming with that again. And take yeah, and now with the Scorpion green, I'll do the very tip of the sword. we go. And a nice gradient. We have somebody knocking on the window. Won't be a second. Well, I don't know who that was. Oh well, as you can see, the blade looks rather nice. Now we can add the other arm to the model now. I can do this because the next step is to do all the final highlighting, which is all going to be in the white. And let me get my head loop on. Now, where's white? Where's my white? Where on earth is my white? I can't see it, there we are. Found it. So we have skull whites, sorry, white scale. It used to be skull whites. I'm still in the habit sometimes of using the old-fashioned names, or the older names for these paints, which is why I do tend to show what paints I have, which I forgot to do I think with the green. So we started off with the green for the blade. The darkest green we used was Caliban green. That is the homeworld for the Dark Angels, Caliban. And then we had Warboss green. Warboss is a orc leader. And then we had Scorpion green, and a scorpion is an arachnid with a very long-ish tail that has a poisonous point. No other reason it's called Scorpion green. At least. Not that I can think of anyway. There might have been a vehicle or something that was called a Scorpion. I've not a clue. I can't remember. So, we have our white, and we have our little chap here. So let's colour him in. Now we're trying to use the white towards edges and a little bit more in some of the flatter areas of the model. Oops, it hasn't quite settled yet. Should have realised that before I started painting, but never mind. We're going to be using white, let's say edges and towards some of the larger flatter areas, like this area. This is where you see much more of the white because it's more it's going to be more visible because it's right at the very top of the character. And what we'll try to do is basically feather the edges. Don't do a straight, don't do a very bold. Bold line there. One thing we don't want is a very thick amount of paint. On the brush. Sorry, not on the brush, on the model. give a bit of a recap on the model itself. It's the Sergeant for the Corporation faction for the game Dead Zone by Mantic Games. It's a British company made up of quite a few ex-Games Workshop members. The CEO is a chap called Ronnie Renton. We have a few different designers, freelance designers, as well as I think in-house designers for games. Alessio Cavatore is one of the designers. He also works for Warlord Games. They do a number of different games. Mantic, this is just one of them. They've done a skirmish game very similar to this one, Mars Attacks, based on the old card game and movie that was out in the 80s and 90s. They also do a fantasy battle game called Kings of War. In the same universe as Kings of War, there is a forthcoming release a forthcoming Kickstarter release called Dungeon Saga, which I am waiting for in great anticipation. And then we have a sci-fi game, well, we have a couple of sci-fi, well, in fact a few sci-fi games. We have a sci-fi sports game called Dreadball. We have this particular sci-fi skirmish game called Dead Zone, and we have a tabletop battle game, kind of a rival to Warhammer 40,000 from Games Workshop, called Warpath. So if you're interested in any of these kind of games, have a look on their website. Just do a search for Mantic Games. I'll put a link in the description of this video, make it a little easier for you to find them. They're well worth a look for. I'll give you some great little miniatures. The games are fairly straightforward and simple kind of to play, and great fun to play as well. I enjoy Kings of War immensely, and although I have Dead Zone and Mars Attacks, Dead Zone, Mars Attacks and Dreadball, I tend to play Kings of War more. this is not sticking. I don't know why. I think I've got an idea, however. That's because I didn't scrape any of the paint off. So I'm just going to keep washing the brush because it's a, like I said earlier, it's a very fine brush, and the bristles get clogged very easily with a brush of this size. So we'll need to keep on top of actually rinsing it out and cleaning it and making sure everything's running as it should. And just go around these. Areas and make sure that they are highlighted along with here as well. And put the bit more white on there. And there as well. Now, let's try and get this to stick to its trimmed off. Let's apply some more glue and push the arm back. Don't worry, I will not be allowing this to go anywhere until it's all all fixed properly. So what I wanted to do with the tubes, which I almost forgot, was using the iron breaker, which we saw earlier when I went over the gun. I'm going to use a little bit to go over those areas, just to break them up. The same down there. And the same kind of thing. I'm not going. You don't see much of these areas, but they need doing. There. And as for the pouches and things like that, we're going to use our pale grey and then just brush over, and there we are, hopefully. That's looking okay. I'm going to take some photographs of this kind of work in progress, and then I can let you see what it's like at the moment. Post a picture of it, and then you can see what you're actually winning. well, not what you're actually winning, but what the work in progress that you have the chance of winning, shall we say. So, I hope, as I say, I hope you've enjoyed this series, and if you've enjoyed it, then please come across and join Spider's Web, and continue your fix of painting, gaming, and silliness. But until next time, as always, take care, God bless.